State Attorney General Jeff Landry is here. Hey, Mr. Jeff, how are you today?
Good morning.
Let me.
I apologize for my 6 a.m. text, by the way. Sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. Look, I was up. I'd been up. Yeah, not a problem.
What time does the State Attorney General get up on average, not to get way off track?
On average, probably about 5:30.
Oh, my gosh, what are you thinking? You rise to a position of importance and you don't take advantage of it.
Oh, okay. No. Look, you absolutely overworked and underpaid.
BRF is suing, just help me out with this because it gets more complex. BRF is suing Willis-Knighton, and it has to do with some say it's Willis-Knighton's wanting to take over the med school here in Shreveport, and you, the Attorney General, want to get into the fray. Explain to us what's going on and what you're thinking.
No, look, I absolutely don't want to get into the fray, but here's what it boils down to. We've been closely monitoring this litigation for quite some time. The outcome of this litigation will have an immediate impact on the LSU Medical School and its continued viability in the northern part of that state. That is one of the most important things to me, okay? That med school in that area is a top-notch school, and we want to ensure that med school continues to operate up there. It's in the best interest of the state as a whole.
Pardon me, Mr. Jeff, when you say it's in the best interest that it operate, do you mean that it's the best interest of this part of the state that it operate not under the aegis of Willis-Knighton?
No, irrespective of who it operates under, it's important that it operates. Okay, and then let me just go to the second point, and we can have a couple of questions. It's also going to impact my ability to defend the state in future litigation involving state action immunity. So the suit that they're engaged in over there has broad, far-reaching impact on other litigation that may crop up around the state as well. And let me explain that. So under a state action doctrine, the state and municipal authorities are immune from federal antitrust lawsuits for actions that they take pursuant to clearly expressed state policies. Okay, so that when the legislature enacts certain particular policies, they're immune from antitrust lawsuits. Okay, and then, so if you followed the suit, you'll know that this dispute is over state contracts through LSU with a private partner, that being Willis-Knighton. BRF also has state contracts. That's why this thing, to the average person, seems like a bowl of spaghetti. Mm-hmm. All we want to do is to ensure and protect the best interests of the state. And for a while now, the ability for us to monitor this particular litigation was difficult because everything was under seal. And so once some of those records were unsealed and we were able to see what was going on, we just asked the federal court to give us an opportunity to file what's called an amicus brief. It's just a friend of the court. It just goes back and restates particular policies. As to what the law is.
In those documents that have been released, they allude to the governor and other members of his administration who say they want Willis-Knighton to take over charity hospitals across the state. That's why this is a statewide issue, correct?
Well, look, it has far-reaching impact, absolutely, but it also could impact us on antitrust litigation in whether it's in the healthcare industry or not, in other areas of the state as well, or again back up in the northern part of the state as well. You know, LSU, neither LSU nor I want to join this suit as a party. Okay. But LSU is spending millions of dollars, okay, defending itself, responding to subpoenas and other demands of the litigation, and it seems to be unfortunate because there are some ways under which LSU could get out, and that's what we've been watching. But it seems like the governor has tied LSU's hands in being able to speak up, and so we said, you know what? If there's an opportunity for us to put information before the court that helps to stem the expense that LSU's paying and to clear some of this path for LSU in federal court, we think it's our responsibility to do that. So there's a number of reasons that our office needed to get involved in this particular litigation. It's not something that we went out there and saw it and said, oh, man, we're just looking for a mess to, some fight to go get ourselves into. We've got plenty, I can promise you.
There are some that are saying that, that Willis-Knighton's the bad guy in this and BRF is the good guy, and there's others on the other side of the fence. Willis-Knighton's apparently written a letter in favor of you joining the skirmish, while BRF is saying that you have no reason to be involved. Are you on one side? Are you on the Willis-Knighton side? That's what this looks like.
I am consistently on the side of the law and the taxpayer. That is unquestionable. Again, to me, it's not about he said, she said, or who should run the school and who shouldn't. Again, we just want to ensure that the school is maintained, that it's viable, that it's productive, that it stays in place, and that everyone is abiding by the law.
Mr. Jeff, there have been rumors, there have been a lot of politicians from this part of the state who have for years said that there is a goal, sort of an unspoken or maybe even behind the door spoken conspiracy to somehow move the medical school here down to Baton Rouge, or just to move it out of Shreveport. Do you know anything about that? Would you comment on that? Is there any truth to those rumors that so many politicians up here seem to think is true?
Well, I have heard those same innuendos when I've traveled around the state. I don't have any factual basis to believe that is true, but certainly if the school starts to flail and it becomes a drain on the state, then the state could make a decision not to have the school there.
How close?
That's certainly a concern of mine as well. I've had many friends that have gotten their doctorate degree from that school, enjoyed their time up there. I think that all of North Louisiana has certainly benefited from the med school being in that particular area, and we want to see it continue.
So how close is it to failing? And if its failure might end up in it moving, does that mean there are people who want to see it fail?
Well, I can tell you that litigation like this that drains millions of taxpayer dollars away from the health care, from actually providing health care in that area is counterproductive to keeping the school open. Think about that. When you spend millions and millions of dollars on lawyers in court, and the state's hand and LSU's hands are tied, and all the while they're out there trying, their core mission is to teach students about medicine, and we have all of this activity wrapped up in litigation. It's counterproductive to education and to the viability of the school.
We have to mention that it's all kind of interrelated to BRF running the hospital and the decision by Governor Jindal at the time to privatize running these hospitals. Was that a mistake in hindsight?
Maybe those are better questions for the governor. The governor and the legislature are the ones that set the policy and enact the laws. My job is to just ensure that those laws are followed, and that basically people are playing on the field according to those particular rules.
As a friend of the court in this suit, what will be your role, and how involved will you be?
Well, again, all we want to do at this particular time is permission to file, again, an amicus brief, which is a memorandum to the court explaining the state's position. It'll be clearly spelled out at that particular time. This is important for everyone to understand. If the district court denies our ability to file that particular memo, again, not picking a side and not being a party. We did not file an intervention. So we did not say the state is intervening in this suit. We just want an opportunity to clarify some things to the court. If the court denies that, we will, without permission, have the ability to do so at the appellate level. We just think it's better for us to have an opportunity to do it now.